it is important to realize that business is more art than it is science. There are people who think that there's a formula that will guarantee business success. It's not. There is no true formula. Like if you do this every time, this will always happen. That's why it is more art than it is science. You can have two people open exact same businesses and put them in the exact same types of communities, or sometimes in the exact same community. I've seen two Asian restaurants with virtually the same menu side by side with very similar names. And so you can have both of them there and their outcomes are vastly different because it's not a science. It's not if you put it here every time, if you do this, if you do that. It is art. It is figuring out how the customer is going to move, how the markets that you're in or the industries that you're in are going to change and adapt. So it is more art. It is about you being creative and adaptive and very flexible in how you engage, but also staying focused on what the customer wants. So it is more art than science. So do not think that, you know, when people offer you the guaranteed methodology, take that with a grain of salt. Entrepreneurship is an exercise in crazy. I have worked with thousands of entrepreneurs over the years, and it is amazing how many times, especially the successful ones, talk about how people look at them and go like, "You crazy? I can't believe that. Nobody would do that. Nobody would buy that. That's crazy." They talk often about how many people tell them that they're crazy, they're insane. Well, the reality is a little bit. That's true. Because think about what you are looking at entrepreneurship. Let's say you open up a store. You are going to open up a store to compete with Walmart, Target, the brands that are online, Amazon. You're going to do it. That's crazy. That sounds crazy. That does not sound like a safe investment. But the thing is that as you learn more about entrepreneurship, you realize that that crazy works. Part of entrepreneurship is thinking like you do, not trying to think like other people do. Now be careful. Just because an idea is crazy does not mean it's going to work. Just because an investment seems like it's going to work, just because an investment seems, or just because a product seems like it should sell, because it's different, it's nobody's ever done it before. There may be a reason that nobody's ever done it before. To my knowledge, nobody has ever jumped off the top of my building. But I think there's a reason for that. Not just because it's a crazy idea that may pay off, but because that's just a crazy idea. Make sure that your crazy ideas are anchored in facts, but please don't be afraid to be crazy. As you are going through your business journey, you will be confronted with the fact that there are things that are facts and there are things that are feelings. That is a fact. And a lot of times you will hear people tell you in business that you need to leave the feelings alone and just focus on the facts. That is ridiculous because you don't stop being a person in business. You bring all of your humanity, all of your personhood to business. One of the reasons that I believe that sometimes large corporations or certain business people start doing things that hurt their customers or hurt their supporters or hurt the population or hurt the environment is because they are trying to put facts over feelings. But if you're going to do business and you're going to be a member of the society, those things have to mix. But you also need to understand the difference. Now, facts are objective. You may not like them, they may not play favorably to you, but they are what they are. And it doesn't mean that you heard it from one person. There are bases of things. There are bases of facts. Like there are objective bases. And if you have something that has an objective base of being true, then that is a fact. There are things that you want to be true, or things that feel true or feel right. You need to make sure that you understand the difference between them because they are, if you confuse them, they will influence you in a direction that will not be your benefit. There is a condition called phantom pain, What happens in phantom pain, it normally occurs where an individual's had an extremity, like let's say an arm, and that arm has been in pain for quite a long time, and then the individual loses the arm is amputated. There are medical cases where when they put the person's brain or hook it up to a scan, they see that the same places in their brain that used to go off when they had the injured arm are still going off. So they are really feeling pain. They're not lying. They're not pretending. They really do feel pain. But there is also a fact. There is a fact that that arm is no longer attached to their body. Now, in order to make a decision as a provider, a doctor, you need to understand that that person still feels it, even if there is a fact that that arm isn't there. You change your treatment modality. You don't just say, well, since the fact is you don't have an arm, we're not going to treat you, and you're just pretending. But at the same time, as a patient, if I only acknowledge that I feel bad, but I don't acknowledge that I in fact do not have an arm, I will not be receptive to what the doctor's treatment may be for me, because I am governed by my feelings and not trying to listen to facts. Whereas a doctor who is only interested in facts is not considering my feelings in the treatment. So as you are navigating your business journey, please make sure that you find the balance between fact and feelings and allow them both to influence your decision, but make sure you understand how they're influencing your decisions. So your support network, both your personal support network and your business support network, you need two different ones. And the reality is, for many of us, those aren't the same ones. And when they do evolve, the business ones tend to become more personal, while the personal ones tend not to become more business. And I'll talk about that in just a second. But make sure that you understand that those support networks are going to be worth more to you than you can pay for them. That's one of the things that the Entrepreneur program does, is that we work to help people find a way to engage each other. We help you find your personal and your business networks and find out how you fit in them. Not just, hey, here's a list, go find out, go see what they do. We try to help work with you to find out the ones that match. So about the personal and business support networks, your what you may find, what I have found and what others I work with have found, is that while your personal networks are supportive, while they want to see you succeed, one of the challenges with personal networks is that they can't see your vision. Many of them have been consumers have been part of consumer generation after generation after generation. And the idea of owning things or taking risks, they've been intergenerational employees, and that that desire to do the crazy, that desire to step out of the comfort zone for something that might be out there more, to them it doesn't make sense. So many times they stay personal friends. I have a couple of clients who, when they try to explain business things to their personal friends, it always ends up in an argument. And so my solution was, well, why do you keep talking to them? Like, well, you talk to people who understand what you're talking about. Again, they may be great friends, and talk to them about your personal stuff, but they don't understand enough about business, about risk, about how to think long term to really be a meaningful business support. But at the same time, what you'll find is that the members of your business support group, they're also dealing with changes in personal relationships. I know one of the recurring themes for a lot of the entrepreneurs I work with is that, why do I always have to be the responsible one? Because not only are they leaders in their business lives, but a lot of times they are also leaders in their personal lives among their friends and family. And so people continue to look to them, sometimes for social emotional support, but a lot of times for financial support, because they have a business. And when you hang out with people who also are in business, they understand that. You have a group of people a lot of times that you can talk about business things and personal things. Again, don't mix the two too quickly. Make sure that you screen the people who come into your network, because those are the ones you're going to need. That you're going to need to be able to support them, and they're going to need to support you. So that's not something you should jump into lightly. Find your why. Being an entrepreneur is not an easy endeavor, and I will never tell you that it will be. And some of those times where things feel rough, or when things feel that you wonder, why do I even do this? And there's going to come a time where that's going to happen. Um, you need to be able to dial back into your why. Why did you start this in the first place? What is your goal? What is your vision? And ask yourself the true question: is that still my vision? Do I still want that? I know a lot of people will say, "Yo, stick to your goals, stick to them, keep going." But why? If you want to get into another room and you keep running into the wall, why would you keep doing that? If your goal is to get in the other room, instead of just continuing to run into the wall where you thought you could get through it, then you need to take a step back and figure out, if I still want to get into the room, is it worth it? And maybe, is there a door, a window, or should I call somebody for help? I know that's a really strange example, but finding your why will anchor you back into, is this even worth it? Because that question will come up. And when you have your why, you'll be able to answer it. And guess what? Sometimes the answer is no, it's not worth it. Please don't let anybody bully you into business. And also, don't let them bully you into staying in business. If your why is no longer driving you, maybe that business isn't for you. There's millions of other businesses out there. One of my friends, he was a rapper in the 90s. His name was Baby Tragic. He passed away um, about 10 years ago now. But one of the lines from a song of his, it has always stuck with me. Said, "Quick decisions even make the wrong moves look right." The way he dropped it was hard, and I was like, okay, I love it. But that one line, it stuck with me, and I realized that that's what happens a lot of times. Sometimes we make quick decisions, and most of those honestly have been made because of fear, because we're scared that we'll get it wrong or we'll lose something. So that fear gets us to make a quick decision, and that quick decision looks right. But the thing that stuck with me about this line, it says, "Quick decisions even make the wrong moves look right." Just because something seems like it's a right answer, or somebody provides you a quick solution or what have you, doesn't mean that that's the right answer. Always look for the right answer. Look for the right move. Look for the right decision. And sometimes that's not the first one. Sometimes that's not your reflex. But be honest about it.